What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of the Killstreaks and Kickoffs Podcast, episode number 13. Today, we are going to be recapping the Major 2 Week 2 online qualifiers of the CDL today. Looking back at what happened this past weekend, it wasn't a very interesting weekend. There were a lot of 3-0s, but we will definitely cover those nonetheless. And then looking forward to the Minor 2 tournament. Filling out a bracket, we're going to be joined by Drew, and we're going to look at all of our picks for the matches and try and put together an accurate bracket of what's going to happen this upcoming weekend. So we will definitely be getting into that. Of course, follow the podcast on Spotify, Killstreaks and Kickoffs Podcast, or click the link below. I will include it in the description alongside all other socials that you can follow me. Go ahead, drop a like as well on the video while you're here. And without further ado, let's get right into this. Welcome everybody back for another week here of our CDL coverage between me and Drew here, and holy, I'm gonna try not to cuss because we might still be within a minute, but holy smokes, this was a terrible weekend of Call of Duty. I was just updating Drew or getting him up to speed on how bad this really was when you look at it. We had, not going to spoil these matches, we'll go in through each of them individually, but we had 7 out of the 10 matches that occurred this weekend as 3-0s. So there were some DoorDash challenges. 2 out of the 3 days actually were full of all 3-0s, so it was like very short days there. So not a very great week of CDL, but we will definitely get into those matches quickly, and then we've got a Minor 2 bracket that we're going to be filling out. But first and foremost, Drew, how we doing?
Doing good, man. It's glad to be back, and I'll keep the theme of not cussing, but if we're going to talk about holy, shiitake mushrooms, the CDL was bad this weekend, can we get a holy shaboingy boings? We were hot.
Yeah.
Were we not hot?
Yes, we
So
were.
we gotta
Yes, we were.
acknowledge that. Hey, maybe they can say it was predictable and just a bunch of smackdowns, but the boys were in their bag. I'm just saying, give me another podcast that was doing it like us this past weekend. And there's not one. The flank wasn't doing it like us.
Those boys had Optic winning. Those boys had Optic winning. Day 2.
Rookies. We didn't think about that.
No.
It's just so simple. We just took them through. What's going to happen? You're going to get on Twitter. Optic's going to be in absolute delirium. And, yep. So, I see another big week from us coming. And, yeah, it's just going to be easy money again. So, shout out to this podcast. That's why you watch.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. We before we hop into these matches here, we'll highlight what Drew is referring to here. We had a fantastic week of picks. Only got one wrong out of all of the picks. One of the matches wrong. Obviously we didn't have map count exactly down, but we low key got quite a few of them. Just were off with a little bit. Just didn't expect some of these matches to be 3-0s, but we go 9 for 10. The only one we get wrong was the first match that we'll jump into here in a second, Carolina versus Minnesota Rocker. But I think we on the leaderboard wise for Major 2 Week 2, we placed 351st out of Lord knows how many people are in this.
Lord knows.
But yeah, great week from probably the most knowledgeable podcast that there is in the CDL space. The Killstreaks and Kickoffs Podcast. But, without further ado, let's actually get into these matches here. I know I was telling Drew that we're not going to spend a whole lot of time on them because there were a lot of 3-0s, like we were saying. So we'll just kind of speed through some of those, give our thoughts on the teams and whatnot. But, yeah, to get it kicked off here, we've got Carolina beating Rocker 3-0 in this series. Like I said, this was the only match we got wrong. Drew did say last week that this series could very easily be a 3-0 Carolina and that's exactly what happened in this one. I'm not shocked by this one. I think both teams are of similar caliber, of similar standing right now in the CDL, so wasn't super shocked by that. Gwyn was kind of back, is kind of been back to his like incredible online form that he was showing last stage. Yeah, I mean Carolina just kind of slammed him here. Not a whole lot to say, just a clean bounce back for them. Thoughts on that, Drew?
Yeah, no, Mark come back down to earth a little bit, but I just think Ravens are a solid team. Yeah, very evenly matched teams, but I like Ravens and stuff like that. Against that like middle tier, I think in my head I have Ravens being the pack, being above or being the top of that pack, or maybe just the bottom of the pack above that. So that's why I thought, hey, I thought Rocker would stay hot, but it didn't surprise me. This didn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, no, me neither. I kind of do still hold Carolina's top four placing at LAN to a little bit more weight than what we've seen from a lot of those other mid-pack teams so far. And so, yeah, I'm not surprised with this one either. But congrats to Carolina there. That's a good
I,
bounce back to kick off the
I
weekend.
think this is the kind of both of the top of that mid pack though.
Yeah, oh
Um,
yeah, no, definitely. I'm surprised it was a
yeah,
3-0 to an extent, but
yeah. These
yeah,
are two teams that Optic just doesn't want to see right now.
no, no.
So you could say that like that they're definitely good.
Yep, indeed. But Carolina gonna get it done there. Why did this go away? Carolina's gonna get it done to kick off the weekend and screw up our perfect predictions. But as we move through the rest, we sniff these out like a bloodhound, and the script was scripting for sure. But Miami Heretics for the second match of day one, gonna get another 3-0 victory over LAG here. Miami just came out and did it. Real is really like unequivocally their best player when they do win, and we've kind of seen that time and time again in these matches that Miami is able to win. So he is who you're going to build around for this franchise. I think going forward, he's kind of the diamond that they found out of the Spanish players, and those European guys. He's kind of been the best performing one that we've seen. Yeah, I mean, Miami just came out, got it done here. Not a whole lot to say on their end other than they slammed them. As for LAG, doesn't really seem like Lunars is the fix that they needed, or the
Isn't
only
Skies
fix that they
benched?
needed. Yeah, so what they did now, and I have the tweet right here. They benched Skies for P-Dog is coming back in here to replace Skies. So they're going to try a roster of, instead of Skies in here, it'll be Kismet, Lunars, Lins, and Priesta. So we'll see how that goes for this LAG squad going forward. But yeah, this match just kind of felt like a catalyst to that roster change again. To kind of get Skies out, see if that fixes that. I don't know if that'll change a whole lot, but it is what it is.
No.
We'll see. Um,
Don't even sugarcoat it.
yeah, I mean, I
I
think
don't
they
know if
need.
that'll change a whole lot. It's not
Well,
gonna change a whole lot. They're gonna get worse. Like this team stinks. Um, and subbing in P Dog for Skies isn't the fix. Like they're just gonna keep losing. Um, this is the script podcast. Like we got the script. We don't sugarcoat shit. General mates or yeah, gorillas just stink, and they're gonna stink.
yeah,
And Heretics just goes as Real goes. You don't shut down Real,
yeah,
and you're gonna have a tough time with Heretics for the day.
yeah. So
So
I have written in my next notes because they lost another match this series. So I have written in my next notes. While we're just on the topic of them, we can gloss over it when we actually get there, and I've got it written down. I think personally for this LAG team, I think Lunar's actually looked better in the next series. I think he looked decent, and he's a young guy, so it's like you're gonna want to bet on that like untapped talent. So I think in a perfect world, they build around Kismet and Lunars and give it to the rest. I don't think that'll happen just because I think Gotaga, the owner of LAG, like Gentlemates, has said on his watch parties that they're going to build around Lins because he is their French player. So I don't think they're parting ways with him. So Yeah, I think you just gotta get a new guy in for that Skies Priestess spot, and say goodbye to both of them personally, in my opinion there. But yeah, I don't know what the hell they'll do. We'll see.
This is my NBA comparison for the Gorillas. It's just like the Sixers this year, where it's like Linz is still young and he's kind of got the Tyrese Maxey slash like Jared McCain. It's like that's like the only like bright spot on the team. But you've just got Kismet, like Joel Embiid, and like Skies, and some of these guys are just and like Paul George, just older dudes that like just didn't really make sense. You know what I mean? Like you write their names on paper and you're like, oh, maybe they've done it before, but these guys just are washed.
Yeah,
Build
yeah,
around Lens. Lens is the only Lens and like you got to let Lunars grow, but like you just let Lens and Lunars rock and see what you get from them, and then you just go from there. But Kismet, Skies, and P Dog are just not it anymore.
yeah. I don't know. I disagree with you on Kismet. I still think he is like a top tier sub when playing at a high level. I agree with you though on Skies and Priesta. I think those two need to say goodbye. Um, and yeah, complete a full actual true at least two-man change here. In getting both of them actually out of the system. But
Isn't Skies pretty young too, or
I mean he's been around. He's been around for a while. I think he came up in like BO3-ish,
he just kind of
maybe.
looks like a little ass kid?
He does look young. He's got a I don't think he's got any facial hair or anything.
Not
I
like
don't know his
us.
exact age. That guy's a grown ass man right here. But
Yes, sir.
yeah, okay. Well, that's all I've got for this series. And we'll that's pretty much the dialogue on LAG that we don't need to hit in their next match either. But let's move on to the last match of the day, and I'm not going to spend much time on this one either. It's a Vegas Falcons match. Vegas Falcons is a free win. Good job, C9. Let's clap it up for C9. Um, yeah, I'm not going to touch on that a whole lot more. But yeah, let's move on to day two here. Atlanta FaZe against Miami Heretics. It's funny that the Atlanta FaZe versus the Miami Heretics isn't one of the 3-0s that we saw this weekend. It's actually one of the rare series where both teams were at least able to win one map. But it really wasn't that close. The only map that Miami was able to take was a round 11 Search and Destroy map 2. The rest of the series was pretty much just FaZe slamming them. Celium's form has been continuing, but Simp was just diabolical this series. I mean, 107 kills on the series, 1.62, positive 41 plus minus on the series for Simp. I mean, that's just absolutely insane. So yeah, I'm not worried at all about this week one loss to this to the Vancouver squad that this FaZe team had. Um, yeah, I mean, there's not a whole lot else to say. And I mean, look, like we were saying, Real is kind of the X factor for this Miami team. He drops a .68 for the L in this one. He was just getting shut down. That's exactly what FaZe did, and they just slammed him. Thoughts on this, or thoughts on this FaZe team? I guess.
Kind of a machine right now.
Yeah, yeah, they're just doing their
Um,
thing.
yeah, Celium's cooking. Um, yeah, no, this is just. I think I've said this 100 times on this podcast, but good team versus bad team.
Mhm.
They gave them I mean, 5-5, and Heretics pulls out an S&D, like, doesn't move me. Very easily could have been a 3-0 too, which, thank goodness. Like, 4 matches in a row to start the weekend, and it would have been 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, so
Yeah.
about time somebody got a map.
Yeah. Saturday was definitely the most interesting day, I guess, out of them. So at least that saved us, and the FaZe were maybe that's why FaZe let Miami win one. They were like, we'll we'll let them win a round 11 here so they can win a map, and make this a little bit interesting for you poor viewers.
I think,
Um,
I think FaZe tries stuff too,
oh
more than a
yeah,
lot of
definitely.
teams.
Well, when you're like
So,
one of the best teams in the league right now, and it's like obvious,
that's
like
the reason.
if you're gonna maintain that spot, it's by trying shit and expanding your bag. And so
Yeah.
if you're in the position to do that, you're only hurting yourself by not trying shit,
I
and I think they
fully
know
think
that.
they could have just 3 out if they wanted to. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Um, Yeah, so that's FaZe versus Miami. Let's move on to the next match. Optic versus Carolina, and the 3-0 train continues for Optic. They are now 0-9 at this stage in all of their maps. Yeah, man, things aren't looking great for them. First and foremost, TJ Halley drops a 1.54. That guy turns the fuck up on Optic every single time he plays them, it seems like, so he may have their number this year. And he certainly did this series. Gets it done against them, man. I know I was kind of a proponent for Optic last week, and I'm still not, like, I don't think the shit is chalked by any means. But I am definitely a bit more worried here about Optic after this one. You would have thought that you'd see like a little bit of improvement with Optic and just the way that they're playing. Seemed like you would think that they would have had some talks about like the system and how the structure of the team and just the philosophy of how they want to play the game looked a little bit different. And it really did not at all. It looked just as bad as last week. In this series, man, it wasn't even a Kenny problem. This was a Dashy Kenny and Pred problem, and Shotzi was positive in this one, but they just been kind of taking turns at being like one out of the four guys are going to go positive in the series, and everybody else just sucks. And so Shotzi went positive in this one, but they've all been bad, in my
That's what
opinion.
scares me a little bit.
Yeah.
That's
So
what bad teams have been doing. Like we talk about this.
yeah,
That's what bad teams do. You
yeah,
just take turns. One person goes positive.
yep. It's
Um,
what the Falcons doing. I mean, Optic is literally looking like the Falcons right now,
yeah,
in terms of the way that they're
there's a
playing the
lot.
game. So I think they just need a complete overhaul of their system, of their play style. Everything they're doing right now, stop doing it and do something else. Like I don't care what it is. I don't think maybe. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and say roster change, because I mean this is a world championship roster, and I'm gonna stick with my like take from last week that I don't think they should drop anybody yet. But they need to fix some shit, man. They look like the worst team in the league besides Vegas. But I mean, dude, even Vegas has won a map this stage. Optic hasn't. They're 0-9. So it's like, you know,
Mhm.
it's ridiculous. But what are your thoughts on this Optic team?
I don't even know what to say. I said this was did I say this last week or the week before that? Crazy ads on your screen, by the way. But
Was
um
there?
um no, it's just like I think I said get right week for Carolina. Like this team is just cakewalk right now. Can't even get a map, which is just like the scary part. This weekend's gonna be big. I mean, you don't blow it up. You gotta let them at least get a stage together. But man, does it look bad. They're doing what bad teams do, and it's kind of like stage 4 last year, where like it's just a disaster. Like I don't get to how this team doesn't even they don't even have like like mid like phase will have like these mid phases.
Mhm.
No, when optics like nah, if we're gonna just have a bad stage, it's just gonna be a fucking train wreck. We're not gonna win a map. So yeah, I don't know. It just let it rock, and I guess it's the battle of the shitters this weekend. So
Yeah.
that you lose that.
Oh, you lose that. That's when you start thinking roster change, in my
Mm,
opinion, or at least like some
No,
sort of move, like
you
benching.
don't think. You don't think.
You do.
You lose to Vegas.
Yeah, honestly.
You roster change.
I mean, if you are losing to Vegas, something needs to be
The whole
done.
dammer, the whole four, all
Yeah.
four of them.
No, punish them, man. Drop them. Get a
That ass.
challengers team in here.
I don't know if that's a take I've heard, but I'm being so serious. That's my take. You lose to Vegas, Scump, get the fucking controller ready, buddy. You
Get
got
Scump
next
and
week.
three Warzone kits. Get Scump. No, get Scump, and then the
Formal's
beat.
ass is so bored. Formal's
Scump,
ass is
Formal,
so fucking
Biffle, Diaz,
bored.
Biffle, and Shifty. Get them on a squad. Get them on Optic. Get them in the roster if this team loses to Falcons.
I'm so dead serious right now. Like, I'm telling you, they lose. The whole they're just too comfortable.
Yeah.
Like you think you're this name, you're these names, and you think like they can just show up. If you lose to fucking Vegas, the contract's gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's my thoughts.
Yeah. All right. Well, pretty much sums up our thoughts on Optic there. Let's move on to Vancouver here. I'm really liking this Vancouver team, man. I like what I'm seeing from him. I like what I'm seeing from Neptune a lot. He went nuclear this series, dropped 114 kills to everybody else's double digits. He dips into the triple digits there with a 1.31, positive 27 on the series here. He's been looking insane. The profile picture curse for Lunars may have been true, but it doesn't seem to be true for Neptune here. He's been looking really good. Lunars that did look decent in this series. He had the highest KD on the team with a 1.08 in this one, but yeah, I mean we're not going to talk about LAG a whole lot more. We kind of gave our thoughts initially on them, but as for this Vancouver team, I'm looking forward to them or to watching them. I hope they can make a run in the minor tournament and carry that into the major, but we'll see here. I don't know if this may still be honeymoon. So we'll see. But I'm definitely high on them right now, for sure. But what do you think?
I mean, yeah, like I said last week, I apologize to Neptune. But with the profile picture curse, you're never wrong, just early, you know what I mean? So Lunars got it. It was actually Lunars. Um, and then I just am really surprised at how interesting this mid pack is of CDL.
Oh yeah,
Surge,
it's the most interesting it's
Surge,
been in a while.
Surge, Heretics, Ravens, Rocker are all very interesting. So I'm really enjoying it.
I
It's
mean,
nice to not just have the
Optics,
top four.
Optic, if they can ever figure
Oh,
something
they're
out,
not
is
even.
is is
No,
is, is should be in that mid pack. Um,
they
I'm
don't even
just
fall in the. I'm not even
yeah,
putting them in the mid pack right now.
I'm just yeah, no, I wouldn't either. But I'm just looking like the mid pack right now is like if we look at all the teams here, I mean, Toronto is in there as well.
Yeah,
Cloud9, it's
yeah,
its bag is just so deep right now. And
yeah,
really
yeah.
anybody's game to start making runs at tournaments. So I think it's really interesting. And if you
And
make a
with
run,
Optic,
you can win.
it really feels like the only two. Like, what do you think of the only two staples of a Sunday for a major right now? Is just FaZe and
Yeah.
Thieves,
Yep.
and I really could make a case for six other teams to be there, and I think that's super super interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. But yeah, I think Vancouver's for sure earned their spot as one of those teams upon this roster change here. They're definitely looking a lot better for sure. But yeah, let's move on to the last match of the day here. Toronto Ultra, like I just mentioned them, they actually have the only map 5 of the weekend here. They're gonna take a dub here against the Boston Breach in 3-2 fashion. They actually do it in a Neslo. Take both of the searches and the control there against Boston. Toronto does need to clean up their hard point, and you'll see it in the next series. They lose because of that, but they need to clean up their hard point for sure. But I mean, I'm as for Boston, I'm definitely completely out on them if I ever was showing any belief. We kind of called this just because like I can't remember who their first 2 wins were, but it was against like Vegas and somebody else, not very impressive. And so as soon as they played 2 tough teams this weekend, they got smoked, rightfully so. And I don't think they're going to do anything this year. And Toronto Ultra kind of showed that because they were able to have horrendous hard point and still win this series against Boston Breach. So yeah, good win for Toronto there to remain 500 at least. Um, yeah, that's all. I'll save my additional thoughts on Toronto for the next series. But what do you think here?
Yeah, I thought we kind of called it. I think we called it 3-2 maybe. I just said that Ultra handles these teams. Um, yeah, what did we call here? I think we did call
We
it
did
3-2.
call a 3-2 for this one.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm kind of surprised you're taking out of your breach stock here. Um, I think they're lower in that mid pack, but I mean, Ultra's not something to. They're not kicking
Yeah, I,
rocks.
I'm only saying that because this Toronto Ultra team is playing terrible in hardpoint, and like you got to think that they're gonna
Yeah.
eventually figure that shit out. So it's like I don't know. If
I guess that's my bigger thing is that unless like I'm worried about this Ultra team a little bit. I don't see this. I don't see a scenario this year where this Ultra team wins a major.
Mm.
This game is just not conducive for insight. Um, Beans doesn't really move the needle for me, and I just think they like lose pace in a lot of these respawns. Like, I mean, they squeaked out the control, but they look bad, and I don't think it's like a routes or like a game plan type of thing for the hard point. I think it's just like how they play, and I think they might just be bad this year in a hard point overall.
Yeah, well,
So
I'll save my thoughts for it. I do have some points because it's more applicable in the next series against Thieves that they lose. But I do agree with you to an extent as well. But yeah, I'll move on to day three and we'll get there in a minute. But first, dude, we've got to mention it at least. Not gonna talk about it again though. No point in analyzing this. Rocker beats Falcons 3-0 here. Dude, Estriel Geo were clip farming 1.79 for Estriel and a 1.64 on this series. It's like these motherfuckers are playing ranked play when they queue up against the Vegas Falcons, man. It's insane. But yeah, Minnesota Rocker going to get it done. In that one, 3-0, of course. And then LA Thieves, like we were just alluding to, 3-0, the Toronto Ultra here. I'll get my thoughts on Thieves out of the way. I really like this series for the Thieves going into Minor 2. They're my. I know FaZe won the last major. They're like, and this may be controversial, but they're who. If I just playing like this, they are who I think the number one team is right now again. And yeah, I really liked what I saw from the Thieves in this series. This Hydra dropping a 1.3, just making the right plays finally. It seems like in these series is going to be what they need to win tournaments and win majors, and that's what we saw here today. Also, saw the finally, got a convincing search and destroy win against another top team here in the red card search and destroy. So they looked good there. That's great for the Thieves to be looking forward. Yeah, I mean that's my thoughts on Thieves. I liked what I saw here. As for Toronto, yeah, they need to clean up the hard point. You might be right. They might never figure that shit out. But I mean, if you look at this map one, bro, Joe Deceives had 49. He had a 50 bomb. In this series for the L. Like that shit just cannot be happening. You're right. They're playing it entirely wrong. Something needs to be fixed with the way that they're playing hard points because you cannot be outslaying them that much and losing. I mean, literally, I don't know if you saw the team comms video at the ending of this red card hard point, but Ghosty and Scrappy and all of them were letting the Joe Deceives and the Toronto Ultra have it for them just playing the game wrong, and telling them to learn how to play the game the right way or play hard point the right way, which seems that they're not doing. So you might be right. They might never figure this shit out, but I think it's definitely something at least that's happening early on in the season, and they're going to have an opportunity to work on it, and if they can't fix it, make changes necessary for it. But yeah, that's my thoughts on this series. This was an interesting one for sure, and a more interesting 3-0 than the other series at least.
definitely. Yeah, no, Thieves. I would like to back you on that. I think Thieves is the best team in the league right now. Um, but also shout out Joey D. I mean, they can say he's not playing the game right or whatever, but man, he has had his gun up and his gun has been hot. So I don't care what you say about him playing the game right or whatever, but I see green numbers consistently week after week after week after week, win or lose. You know what I mean? At a point, you just can't complain about it. So, yeah, I don't have any other thoughts. Yeah, I kind of liked your Hydra thoughts, where it was like Hydra was playing with what's the Gorillas now, and I think he like realized he needed to be Superman in years past. He doesn't need to be that now.
Mm.
Kind of just be in his lane almost. You know what I mean? Like
Play his
still be
role.
that dog. Yeah, but you don't. He doesn't need to take long range chows. Like he just needs to be Hydra and just like run rampant,
Hmm.
and then the rest of it, and just open up some space for the rest of his team, and it just makes it look so easy because you got such good players around you. I think he's starting to realize that a little bit.
Yeah,
That's what
definitely.
it looks like, at least.
Definitely. I think he's figuring this. I think it's a combination of that and also just figuring this game out in general. As we
Yeah.
move into it, learning how to play Black Ops 6 as a Call of Duty or as a competitive Call of Duty. But yeah,
I think it's hot. I would not. It's a scary, scary thing
yeah,
to play this
definitely,
game.
most definitely. But yeah, Thieves looking good. And then last match of the weekend here, Cloud9 beats Boston Breach. Again, Cloud9 is another team I've kind of become a believer in. I thought they looked good in this one. Yeah, really good. Green carpet there. Sib is just hitting form right now. This is the Sib that we knew like existed and why we were so shocked with how he was playing leading up to this point in the season. And yeah, he's dropping. I mean, he's dropping a 2.0 KD in a series against another CDL professional team. So yeah, he's looking good. Everyone else though, man, looked good as well. Kremp drops a 1.6. Task drops a 1.5. Max even getting in on the action with a 1.3. This whole team just looked really good. If they keep this up, I think they can be, arguments for one of the top four teams at the tournaments, making those championship Sundays, of course. So, yeah, Cloud9 starting to hit form, and on the other end, this was an absolutely abysmal series from the Boston Breach, man. Cammy didn't even break 30 kills in this series, man. Drops a point 0.5. So I mean, just really sad to see there from that one. But the whole team, not to single Cammy out, didn't look great. Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit more out on this Boston Breach team than I was earlier. But as for Cloud9, man, I'm a believer in from what I've seen so far.
Yeah. Yeah, no, this would be the series that make me cause myself to pull out my Boston Breach stock, and continue to go into Cloud9. I don't actually Cloud9. I don't know if I'd invest more, but I think that was one of our takes, like that we were really right on. At least personally, I just knew this Cloud9 team was just not as bad as they looked.
Hmm.
Um, and so we were all over that one. So, yeah, no, I don't have too many thoughts on the series.
Yeah. But we'll see. We'll see how things pan out going forward. That is why, though, we are going to do now a pick'em for minor two bracket here. The seed is finalized. I know I made that comment last week about or it was last week or the week before. I think it was last week. I was like, why is the bracket came out? I guess it makes sense because not all teams have the same amount of matches played. Like if we go to here, Cloud9's 3-1
Yeah.
versus Thieves is 3-0. So for the scheduling wise, they probably just wanted to go just based off of like post Major 1. So that makes sense. A little bit more now, but yeah, let's just jump right into this. Kind of go off of intuition, go off our guts here, and see what we cook up with the final bracket for round one. I'm gonna go Vancouver Surge. I'm a believer in this squad right now, and like I said, as we talked about in that last match, I'm not a fan of Breach here. But who are you thinking?
Surge for sure.
Yeah, we'll
Uh,
go Surge. What do you think? This is a
one.
Breach lost on a 3-2 to Toronto, so I could see this going map 5, but no.
Remember, they get nerfed. They get nerfed in tournaments. I know it's not a major, but they
Yeah.
still get nerfed a little bit.
Fair. Okay.
Um, 3-1.
All right, fair enough. Optic Texas versus Falcons. This is the only one. I know I said I wasn't gonna pick Optic to win anything. I have to at least pick them for this one, but just because of the pure blasphemy and shock that I would be in if they lost, and what we would need to hold them accountable for. Um, you have to go Optic here if they let you down. Yeah, we talked about it, but I mean, what do you think here? Dude, we gotta be serious here. This Vegas Falcons team.
Why do you keep saying this? Vegas Falcons team. This Optic Texas team.
Okay. But you have to understand, this Vegas Falcons team has looked like this Optic Texas team does right now for the entirety of the season. So, going off of
Yeah.
sample size and disparity between that, you have to go with Optic here. It is it is the ultimate, like, if they lose this shit, man.
Give me Vegas.
No, dude. There's
Uh,
no way. There's
I,
no way.
I
Dude, they
that's
can't
why
win a hard
I
point. They've never won a hard point in the CDL.
that's true. Yeah, I think. Yeah, you're right. There's just no chance that Shotzi or somebody like that lets that happen.
I mean, the only way
Yeah,
Vegas wins this is if they Neslo them and win both of the search
you're
and
right.
destroys.
Yeah, the thing that's making me say I'm going with Optic is that Vegas tweet. If you're a fucking Optic player, you see that shit?
What
Like
tweet?
like like Vegas
Oh,
Falcons
yeah, yeah,
Twitter
yeah,
account
yeah, yeah.
was counting on him too. Like I, I I don't know how they are as competitors, but like, bro, I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
You got fucking ding dong talking shit to me. Like, hey, I might not be as big and mighty as I once was, but I'm still gonna beat the shit out of this little twerp. Like, I don't know who he thinks he is. Like, stuff him in a locker real quick, and then I'm gonna go get my ass stuffed in the locker. So I guess I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's got to be 3-1.
It
Oh,
has to be
there's no
3-1.
way
Yeah.
Vegas.
If
There's
it
no
goes
way
to map
Vegas.
5, I wouldn't be shocked if we saw a Vegas win. They haven't gone to map 5 once this year. They haven't won a hard point. I just feel like,
Nah, man. If they do this shit,
yeah.
I'm telling you.
Um, but yeah, we'll we'll see there. It would be
Oh,
pretty fucking crazy and pretty fitting to just the Optic organization in general and like, yeah. Yeah, it would be insane. But let's move on here to Minnesota Rocker versus Cloud9, New York here. This one's kind of tough. I uh
this is definitely tough. I think this is the toughest game in this first round, easily.
I was um I was listening to kind of the flank predict a little bit of this, and Haggy Parasite made some good points about just how map pools between these two teams stack up, and Minnesota Rocker wins that and wins that comparison between the two of them. So I don't
In
know,
terms of
man.
like versatility,
Yeah, just in
or in
terms of
terms,
like how their map pools match up against each other and who is better at maps and
yeah.
whatnot. Like he said something about how Minnesota can literally just veto Hacienda and they've got all the maps they need over Cloud9. So, um, I don't know. My gut feeling tells me like my
I
aura
want to go
alone.
Rocker. I want to go Rocker as well. Um, it's just bad. I honestly choose Cloud9 over Optic. I choose Cloud9 over either the teams in Miami and
Hmm
Gorillas. It's just a tough matchup for Cloud9.
This one's gonna be a
So yeah,
bang
give me
out.
Rocker.
I'll go. Yeah, I'm
I
fine
think
with
so too.
Rocker like 3-2. I think this goes map 5.
Yeah,
For that one. But yeah,
perfect.
I really like this Cloud9 team. It really sucks that they matched up against like a Rocker team that matches up well against them. But who knows though? Maybe they'll come out. Either way though,
It's
you
only
got
it's like single limb too, right?
yeah, it's single limb, so that it's so
Yeah,
stupid.
they'll be okay though. They'll get to the major and have a pretty decent seating.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me if it goes either way. I'd also give it to Rocker.
Yeah, okay. Well, moving on to the last match of round 1 here. Miami Heretics versus LAG. You got to go Miami here, man. LAG hasn't shown us that they can be any
Yeah,
ounce of consistent. Um, as for map count here,
yeah,
3-0. I'm fine with it.
yep,
We
yeah,
saw a lot of them this weekend. Who's to say there won't be more? Let's go
yeah.
back.
No, we're always a little optimistic on not enough 3-0s.
Yeah, well, especially
So
this past weekend. It's been because we were that way because throughout Major 1 there was like the most 3-2s that we've ever seen in a stage, and now it's kind
yeah,
of the game is shifting a little bit more. People are figuring shit out, and so there's a little bit more disparity and skill gap between teams on any given day. But yeah, let's go back up to the top of the bracket here. Atlanta FaZe versus Vancouver Surge here. the rematch of the week one upset that Vancouver pulled off. What do
Yep.
you think here? Do you think FaZe, locks in, hits a tournament and plays how they should against Vancouver, or do you think the honeymoon phase continues for Vancouver here and they knock off FaZe again?
I mean, obviously the safe pick is FaZe.
Yeah.
I'm getting a weird vibe though.
I would
I don't
not
know.
be shocked if we saw it again. Because it's
Do you
like
want to go
FaZe.
with it?
I'm honestly, man, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with doing it because FaZe is like, I'm thinking of this psychologically, right?
Yeah,
FaZe,
same. It's a minor. It's a minor. It's not that serious.
yeah,
Um, and like they don't strike me as a team of like they want their revenge on a
no,
on a online match they lost. I think Surge gets some confidence of they've beat this team before.
yeah,
FaZe doesn't care that much, and like there's there's just a little bit of thought of like, hey, let's just do it again.
yeah.
So yeah,
So like, what I'm thinking is with this rematch, like Atlanta FaZe, you're right. They're not like looking for revenge or anything. I mean, it's a fucking online match in week one, and then it's a rematch online again. What they're thinking is they're more so probably just feeling like pressure that like, okay, we should have beat these guys the first time. Let's go in here and do what we're supposed to do. But like, that may not be the case. This Vancouver Surge team might actually be legit, and on like a similar level to you right now, at least with how they're playing. And so it's like, I just think the way that the mindsets are for both of these teams coming in, Vancouver Surge has something to prove. Atlanta FaZe, like you said, it's an online match. It's not super important. So I could go, yeah, I'm fine to go Vancouver here. Like, say run it
me
back,
too.
like, yeah, run it back. Whoops. It was 3-1 when they played the first time. I agree
Yeah,
though. I think 3-2 here makes sense for
I
this one.
think
But
obviously FaZe comes in there, smacks them. I'm not amazed either,
no,
but I think
yeah,
that's a good. I think Surge handles it.
yeah. Let's move on to this next one. I got Optic, or sorry, I got Toronto against Optic. I'm not. This doesn't improve anything for Optic's situation. Maybe
Yeah,
it gives them a map this time around against a team other than Falcons. But yeah, I'm gonna go Toronto 3-1 Optic if you're
same.
fine with that.
Same.
Okay, this next one, LA Thieves against Rocker here. I think this match kind of doesn't matter because I think LA Thieves would have beat both of them in my opinion right now, just with the way that we've seen them playing. I know I mentioned that I think they're the best team in the game right now. From what we've seen in stage two so far, I'm gonna go Thieves against Rocker here. Maybe this one's another 3-2. I don't know. We're kind of handing them out a
I
lot.
I think it's 3-0.
You think it's 3-0? Okay. All right, I'm
Yeah.
fine with it. I'm fine with it. Thieves walks in and dog walks Minnesota Rocker here in this one. And then last match of the day here, Carolina versus Miami. This one's kind of tough too, because it really is just completely how is Real going to show up for Miami, or is Carolina going to shut them down?
I got a lot of thoughts on this game. This is a tough one.
Yeah, it is.
This is a scary matchup if you're Ravens.
Yeah, I
There's a
agree.
lot of other teams I'd like to see here more than I'd like to see Heretics if I'm a Ravens fan.
Hmm.
Um, but give me Ravens. Like I said earlier in this podcast, if I'm just doing that imaginary tier list in my head, I'm putting as of right now I'm putting Ravens that last member of the pack or the top member of that mid pack, I'd say, because I just think FaZe and Thieves are 1-2 up top, and then I'm putting Ravens above Ultra and of that mid pack. So yeah, give me Ravens. I think they just do it.
I'm fine with
I
it.
think so.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they turned up in the online tournament last time. Gwyn is very good online.
And
And
what
I
are
think
they doing? They go 2-0 this past weekend, or was it just 1-0?
Carolina, well, they beat Optic, and then yeah, they beat Rocker 3-0 as well. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, I'm,
yeah. No,
I'm,
yeah. If they beat Rocker, I forgot they beat Rocker 3-0. Even though we literally just talked about it, I'm just
I
close.
know, I forgot as well.
Um, um, Yeah, I guess they're heretics on that.
All right, let's go to semis here. This will be an interesting Final Four, but I could definitely see it. Vancouver Surge versus Toronto Ultra. Do we see a Vancouver Grand Finals appearance? Does the honeymoon phase go that far, you think?
I think we've graduated from the honeymoon phase.
You think
If
they're
we're here, I think they've stamped it as legit, and I think they mail it in with legit here and get a win against Ultra.
okay? I'm fine to do that
I
too, man. I'd say
I just don't think
3-1.
that I just
They
Yeah, I
win
don't
both the
think
hard
the
points.
Ultra. Yeah, yeah, that's my big thing there. Is that Surge looks good in that shit, and Ultra is rough, and I
Yeah.
don't think a week fixes all of Ultra's problems in hardpoint. Like it'll get better, but I don't think it's that much better yet,
Mm,
to where Ultra takes one of them from Surge.
yeah.
So if I'm
Honestly.
Surge, I would love that matchup late, and like man, like the way the bracket lays out, if you're Surge. You got to handle phase, but if you handle phase,
Yeah.
like you really aren't scared of anybody else over there. Like you're not scared of Vegas. Obviously, I wouldn't be scared of Optic. I'm not scared of Ultra either.
Nope.
So
If you beat
I'd
FaZe,
like to
you
give this
you you've
Surge.
got a trip to the grand finals with the way you're playing right now.
Yeah,
I totally agree.
yeah.
And in our bracket, that's what we've got them doing. So I'm fine with them going here to the finals. And then on the bottom side of the bracket, LA Thieves versus Carolina Royal Ravens. I'm gonna keep picking Thieves here. I think Carolina. I
They
think they
own this game.
yeah they own this roster. We saw it this week, right? That's who. Yeah. Or no, that was
No, it wasn't this
these
week, but it
played.
was
Yeah,
last week.
it was last week. Yeah. They own them. Honestly, I could see 3-0 here. When Carolina loses
3-0.
to the Thieves, it's a
It's 3-0.
3-0. So, yeah, I think this LA Thieves team owns Carolina in all game modes, and then that'll set up a grand final here between the LA Thieves and the Vancouver Surge here. Yeah, in a best of, I think, yeah, it's a best of 7. So I think Thieves has been looking a bit better in Search and Destroy. So you got to think that they don't lose all 3 of them like their last best of 7 series that they played. Um, I've got Thieves in this one against Vancouver Surge. I think the gas kind of runs out for them. I do agree that the honeymoon phase would be graduated by this point, and they are, a legitimate team. But I just think Thieves are the best team right now, and they're probably gonna go out there and show it. If this were to be the series, so I've got them in like 4-2 fashion against the Vancouver Surge. But what do you think for this last matchup?
I think I got them in 4-1.
4-1.
Um, yeah, no, go with your two. Go with your
Okay.
gut. Go with two. I think I got them in 4-1. I just think it's like I think like the end of this tournament from like we're picking and stuff is a good summary of like what's been happening, like what happens last week just carries over a lot of just smackings. And I think this is like the beginning of teams separating themselves, and I think I can see. I think I'm gonna end up picking Thieves. It wouldn't surprise me, depending how the bracket comes out from the major. But I could see Thieves winning this and then also repeating at the major.
Yep.
So I think this is the first like Infinity Stone they
Just like
grab
FaZe
here.
did.
Yeah. So I think I'm gonna go also Thieves.
All right. Cool. Well, there's our final
So yeah,
bracket here. We're gonna lock it in here. Your bracket predictions cannot be modified once you click submit predictions. All right, I'm submitting. So we're locked in. We're locked in and loaded here in this bracket. I like what we've got here. I think it's really going to be playing on this key matchup on Saturday for sure. Um, the success of our bracket kind of rides on that, but I wouldn't be shocked, man. We'll kind of look like geniuses if this does happen. And I've got a decent feeling about this Surge team right now. And
hey,
yeah,
hey, 3 day we're 3 days early, but we're getting our brackets in early for
that's true.
March. March
Yep,
is right around the corner, and we got our bracket buster as Surge beating Face.
yep,
So the upsets are coming in March. We're 3 days early.
yep, yep, indeed.
So
And yeah, so this will be, and you know what? We'll probably be filling out a bracket. Damn it, I don't know. where you can't see it. Yeah, I can't remember the exact dates for the Major 2, but we'll probably be filling out a bracket again before,
what were we 315 this week
huh?
on
What rank?
what was
Yeah, we
our
were like
ranking?
315th or something like that.
Hey,
Uh,
that's not bad, but I got us. You're gonna see us on the leaderboard this week.
351, 351. So we're shooting for that top 200. We want top 200 to get on this leaderboard here. I think
So
we,
what did we? Man, yeah. Oh, we were so close. By
yeah,
the way,
we were 1 point off.
is that just one map choice?
Yeah, so I mean, it could have been like basically.
Like
Let me go back.
we got
It could have been like a map choice. It could have been like, where is my week 2? Um, so like this one, if we called the 3-2 here, we would have got +6 instead because it was double
oh,
points, you know. So it's like kind of a little bit RNG. Um, or if this one, if we sniffed out
uh,
the 3-0 for Carolina here, that would have been +6 instead, so on and so forth. So, um, which would have easily put us in the top 200.
we don't get so like. Did we lose points? So we lost 1 point for the Surge Gorillas on Saturday because we were one map off.
Yeah. So like it's 2 points per
Every
match. It's 2 points per match that you get
for the
correctly
win.
calling the winner. You get an extra point for guessing correct map count, and then if it's a double match like they do, um, it's just double points in general. So we didn't get the map. If we would have got the map count correct on any of the double points matches, we would have
Oh, we
placed in the
were so
top
close.
200. Yeah.
We were so
But
close on two of them.
yep.
Oh, dude,
Oh
would have been
no.
on the leaderboard.
Oh no.
All right, well, that's hey, we got something to shoot for now.
Yep. Yep. We do.
I
Yep. We
like
do.
I like our chances this weekend.
Yeah, yeah. I think we can beat
Um,
351, especially if this bracket goes our way, if we call this upset. But we'll see, man. I'm excited to watch this one. It's been, a mundane 3 weeks or so of no COD play, and then just after last weekend was not great. So will be nice to hopefully see some more competitive matches in the tournament form, see what teams make a run here. That's pretty much everything I wanted to hit here with this episode. Hopefully, we do well. We're shooting for 351, like we said, and trying to break into that top 200. That would be cool to see. I should have made an account for the Killstreaks and Kickoffs podcast, but it's just gonna have to be under Rubix for now, since that's what we have everything saved to. But yeah, that's pretty much everything. Drew, anything before I hop into our outro?
oh, nope. Once again, thanks for having me.
Yep. Yep, of course. Well, we will be back with you guys next week for an update on how this tournament played out. So we'll go through all of that and then look forward at the next coming weeks, of course, for the online play before the major actually starts. So we'll look ahead there, and then yeah, make sure to follow the podcast on Spotify, Killstreaks and Kickoffs, or click the link in the description below to be directed to it alongside all of those socials that you can follow me on. I really appreciate it. Drop a like, drop a comment on this video. Really appreciate that as well. And yeah, thank you for watching, everybody. Peace out.